So Benjamin had a great question. How do I make my user interface buttons switch between different cameras set up in the scene like my demos have? So all you need to do is set up your buttons like Benjamin has done here. He called them Cam 1, 2, 3. And these are Text Mesh Pro buttons. So reminder to get to those, you got to go to Game Object, UI, and then which one did you use actually? Because there's multiple. Did you use this one? Yeah. So button Text Mesh Pro. All right, that'll give you a button. Then you can name it like he did. Then down in the on-click function of the button, click the little plus arrow. And we are trying to change the camera. But in order to do that, Ben needs to set up some more cameras. So we can take a closer look at the scene to see where we want to put the cameras. So this is going to be Benjamin's choice, of course. Right now the camera is right up there, looking down from the corner of the scene. So we want to create some other viewpoints here, which we did in our camera section. So select the main camera and then go up to here and choose Cinemachine, which he doesn't have yet. So here's the main thing you need to do is go to Window, Package Manager, and we're going to go get a package called Cinemachine. It's basically a smart camera system that makes any kind of cameras in your games easier, more powerful, just better. I think every project should use this package. It was inside of our 2D platformer project and a few others. All right, so if you search and you don't see anything, that's because in the upper left of your package manager, it's set to in project, meaning it's only showing what's in your project. We want to go to Unity registry. That's going to give us all the packages. And inside here, we're looking for Cinemachine. Cinemachine. So install that package, and then you'll have access to the smart camera system. That's really the main thing here is you got to have Cinemachine to do what I'm about to show you. It'll take it a second to import the assets, compile the scripts. There we go. Okay, so now that Benjamin has Cinemachine installed, he can select the main camera in the hierarchy, go up to Game Object, choose Cinemachine, and the first option is Virtual Camera. I'm not going to go into deep explanation here of what a virtual camera is, just to keep this short. So it automatically calls it CMVCam1. That's fine. All right, so now in the scene view, we're going to actually move this camera into position where we want it to be. So to make this a little easier, let's drag the game view down to the bottom corner so that we can see the scene view and the game view at the same time. Very important to do this sometimes. I'm also going to change his aspect ratio to 16:9 because that's most likely what kind of screen he's going to be looking at on anyway. Okay, so now we got that first virtual camera set up. We can move it into position where we want it to be. Let's say that he wants it right here. And now I'm going to duplicate that camera. The virtual camera, I'm going to just hit Control D with it selected. Boom. Now we instantly have another virtual camera that's tied into the Cinemachine camera. So Joseph, go ahead and position, not Joseph, Benjamin. I was just talking to Joseph, so I confused myself. Benjamin, move this camera right here in the scene. Just position it so that it's a different angle, maybe closer to your actor's face there. Maybe go for a close-up to his face. Go ahead. We're waiting. There you go. Okay, cool. Good enough. And this is the great thing about Cinemachine, Benjamin, is you can always change that. Anytime you go back and change the position of that one camera, then it's going to update. And Cinemachine's cool like that. So you can also set amazing things like follow and look at targets. This is really great for animating your cameras. So you can have something moving in your scene and it will just automatically track it, which is really cool. But you don't even need that because in your example, we're just going to have static cameras that are not moving, right? So there's your second camera. I'll just put a 2 on the end and duplicate it again. And maybe this time we'll go for something a little more like that. Okay, so now we got 3 cameras set up. I'm going to go back to his UI canvas, and I'll do that switching back to the 2D view, selecting his canvas object, hitting the F key to focus on it. Okay, there we go. So now I'm going to select the first button, his Cam 1 button, scroll to the on-click function down here. Okay, so I already clicked the plus sign on that one, so now all I need to do is drag in a camera, right? So select the first button, drag it in. So CMVCam1, just drag it right in there. And what we're going to change is the priority, okay? So if you go look at the actual camera, the value that we're going to change is the priority. You could also just simply turn that camera off, but you have a lot more control when you change the priority. And just know that the higher the number, the more priority the camera is going to have. And you may be asking, like, why is that? Why is it not just off and on? Because you can blend between cameras. So depending on how much priority it has, you can have scripts change it to the highest priority based on what's happening. Okay, long explanation there, but just change your priority when you push the buttons. So on Cam 1, on click function, we drug the camera in. Now we're going to go change Cinemachine virtual camera priority, the integer for it. And an integer is just a whole number, right? So if we want that camera to be active when that button is pressed, then we want it to be a 10. So button here, change priority to 10, right? But we also, here's the important part, Benjamin, we also wanted to make cameras 2 and 3 down to 0 or 9, right? Something lower than 10. So let's do that. Let's add 2 more of these. Let's drag in the other 2 cameras, Cam 2, Cam 3, and then change its Cinemachine priority integer value to 0. There we go. So when that button's pressed, it's going to make that camera priority and shift to it. So let's quickly do that for button 2 and then test it out. Then I'll let you set up the last one. Okay, there we go. On click, let's add 3 of them because there's 3 cameras. So camera 1, camera 2, camera 3. And this is button number 2, so we want camera number 2's parameter for the priority integer to be 10. And then we're going to set the other 2 to 0, right? Priority 0. Yeah, and there's other reasons you want to have different priority numbers based on what's going on in your game. But there it is. Okay, that's it. So now let's go ahead and test out the game. Let me make this maximized when we hit play. Okay, go ahead and test it out, Benjamin. You get the honors. Oh, look at that. See, here's what's cool about Cinemachine is that it automatically created a blending camera animation just by shifting the priority of the Cinemachine cameras. Pretty cool, huh?